Hey, everybody. Andrew Kordek with iPost, and welcome to another edition of Email Never Sleeps. Marketers, you have a loyalty program, and you obviously have communications around your loyalty program, and that's the topic for today. And I've brought on somebody that I've known for over 15 years. His name is David Slavick. He's the co-founder of Ascendant Loyalty. David, thank you for taking the time with me today. Why don't you give some people an introduction about yourself and about your company and about your background?
Thanks, Andrew. It's great to be with you. Yeah, we've known each other for quite a long time, partnered together as well. It's so much fun.
Yep.
And our firm is an end-to-end customer relationship marketing loyalty company.
Mm-hmm.
We do it from beginning to middle to end, from strategic assessment to program design to
Mm-hmm.
financial model, business case. We source technology. We
Yeah.
work with partners like iPost, with digital communications, SMS, email, etc.
Yeah.
But we don't own any technology. So
Yeah.
companies hire us for RFIs, RFPs, and we
Sure.
really set up clients with that kind of foundation with loyalty, which is a really hot area,
Sure.
continues to evolve naturally,
Yeah. Yeah.
and bring clients all the way forward to go live. And then a
Yeah.
lot of times clients already have staff, or we've helped them to find the staff to run the program.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go from there, and we traverse across lots of industries that you guys are involved in, whether it's cruise lines or casinos,
Mm-hmm.
retail, specialty retail, e-commerce, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. So the firm's been in place for 4 years, but I've
Oh,
been
wow.
client side and
Oh, yeah.
supplier side as well. So
Sure.
it's a great space, and it's great to be with you today.
Yeah, it's great. So, you and I were chatting before this, and we've chatted before in the past. And, we start thinking about companies, large scale companies, very prominent companies. And sometimes they treat their program as sort of like a background add on, right? And not about the unlocking this key to customer value. I think that you and I have talked about the past. And I'm curious as to your thoughts. Why do they do that? Because it seems like it's such an important aspect to make sure that their customers remain loyal. I'm curious as to that. What your thoughts are on that?
Yeah, you're describing a spectrum in terms of how clients or companies value these
Mhm.
type of programs. And
Yeah.
the best example that I can give is at one point in time, not too long ago, pre-pandemic,
Hmm.
restaurants sort of had programs, but they didn't. Like a Landry's had a program across all their different, and I'm a member of
Hmm.
the Morton's program VIP, and so they
Yeah.
commit accordingly.
Yeah.
But in fast food, they didn't have programs, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and their traffic was down, and all of a sudden, instantly, McDonald's is giving away free Big Macs to everybody to take on and download their mobile app, and now all of a sudden loyalty is important, and you get free
Yeah.
stuff. Or you see
Yeah.
Taco Bell, and
Yeah.
you pay $9.99 and you get a taco every day for 30
Yeah.
days. I don't know
Yeah.
who's going to Taco Bell every day for a taco, but what the heck?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's important to them because their traffic was down. We want to try driving traffic. Fine, we've got drive-throughs that are still open. We want our stores and our franchisees to be successful. And then they
Hmm.
reach out to really smart companies like a Paytronics in that space, and they say,
Hmm.
help us to create these programs. And all of a sudden, everybody's got a mobile app, and everybody, is trying to drive loyalty. And then on the other hand, you have companies that work with credit card issuers. And the
Hmm.
majority of the value proposition that's associated with the program is all about a co-brand credit card. It's got a Visa bug or an Amex bug or a MasterCard bug. And
Hmm.
the whole program is all built on credit. Now,
Hmm.
that sometimes falls into the background. It's like, yeah, you'll do some promotions every once in a while for the credit card customer. But the bottom line is the credit card company, whether it's Alliance Data, which is now called Bread Financial, or
Uh-huh.
Synchrony Financial, and their operating company, they run
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
so they just defer to the credit card company. There's nothing wrong with that. Typically, your highest value customer is your credit card customer. And then
Hmm.
there's other companies like where we were in the department store area, and
Yeah.
it's like there's a huge leaky bucket, and we're
Yep.
losing more customers than we're bringing in, and they
Yep.
appreciate the value of just the data and
Yep.
identifying the customer and retaining. So then it is important. And then there are others that just want to check the box.
And what about
And
brands? No, yeah,
why,
but you're making it,
why are they
yeah.
just checking the box? Go
Why are
ahead.
they just checking the box? And I think that brings into the next point, right? Is we have brands that have these, they put these loyalty programs in place, or they change loyalty programs, or they refine them over a period of time. And then there's that sort of communication path, right? Whether it's through email, SMS, mobile push, things of that nature. But then there's this seemingly blending together of brand communications versus loyalty communications. Do you think that they should be the same, one and the same, somewhat close? Because my opinion is loyalty communications should be very distinctly unique to loyalty versus a brand communication, especially if I've invested myself into that brand. But you're one of the loyalty experts, right? So I'd like to hear your opinion on separating those two types of communication streams.
Yeah, like my career is half and half. So the first
Yeah,
half of my career was ad agency side. So I have
yeah,
my master's in communications and my bachelor's in advertising from Illinois. So you're talking to an
yeah,
ad guy who
yeah,
then
yeah.
converted over to loyalty. So I do have an opinion in that regard. It all depends. It depends on the the identification or the positioning of the brand. And
Mm-hmm.
does loyalty complement the brand, or does loyalty become the driver of the
Mm-hmm.
brand engagement? There is no
Okay.
way that the community at Nike and
Mm-hmm.
the apps that you use and running clubs and fitness and
Mm-hmm.
nutrition, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
complementary to the brand experience. You're wearing this logo Under Armour on your chest,
Right.
and they have apps too to tell you about living a healthy lifestyle and wellness and workout. And
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, you go to their house store or you go online,
Yeah.
that's the brand identity. It has nothing to do with the loyalty program.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty is a mutual exchange,
Mm-hmm.
two-way dialogue. And if I give you something, I get something back in return. It
Right.
creates stickiness, it's a
Mm-hmm.
competitive edge, and what you offer in terms of benefits has to be brand right, and
Mm-hmm.
it has to be distinctive, and it has to be innovative. So
Mm-hmm.
those are your challenges, and
Yeah.
so it needs to be brand right. It needs to be consistent with the overall mission of the brand. So
Yes.
I feel that they have to be complementary, but then
Okay.
your one question was communication strategy. The loyalty communication needs to
Mm-hmm.
be well received and anticipated and expected. And the brand communication can take on other missions relative
Mm-hmm.
to ESG. I mean, sustainability is really important. So if the
Yep.
brand stands for something and giving back to the ecology of the world and sustainability and recycling and doing good
Mm-hmm.
works, charity, that's brand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Loyalty program is can be promotion and recognition and reward, but you
Mm-hmm.
can also reward your member for doing good things, for
Mm-hmm.
recycling, for
Yep.
helping out in the community, and everybody gets together and does cleanup. So they
Yep.
complement each other, and at the same time, they can have separate purposes
Yep.
per se. Um,
Agreed.
so
Agreed.
that's a way of looking at it. A lot
Yeah.
of times companies will have an in-house creative team, and
Mm-hmm.
that same creative team will either meld the communications together or apart. So at
Mm-hmm.
one point in my career, not too long ago, I was at
Mm-hmm.
American Eagle Outfitters. Our creative team was all in-house. They
Yep.
lived the brand every day,
Mm-hmm.
and our communications were separate. I could be
Yep.
featuring product
Mm-hmm.
and saying, live your life and doing wonderful things on an outreach basis to your
Mm-hmm.
community. And at the same time, I could be talking about the All Access Pass program and talking to the mom or the kid or the child who's
Yep.
over the age of 13, so I could communicate with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on the guidelines. And they're responding to promotion and they're earning
Yep.
points and they're getting
Yep.
rewards. And I'm bringing them back on a
Yep.
pretty frequent basis, and I'm stealing share from Gap and Old Navy and
Mm-hmm.
Abercrombie and Hollister. So it's a good thing.
Yep.
So you can do both, and they
And
can
what if,
meld together as well.
and that's a good point. And I think the next thing I kind of wanted to think about was, some of the brands that I'm extremely loyal to, meaning I've got their app, I subscribe to their email program, and I regularly use the product or the service, right, communicates with me multi-channel very, very well. I may not go like them on Facebook, because just because I go like them on Facebook or follow them on Instagram doesn't mean anything. It's they communicate me via app push or via email or a combination of the two, and really time it right. And so what sort of advice would you give to somebody that's maybe a digital marketer that maybe wears a couple hats, maybe works with an email team or an SMS team or the mobile team, as to how did they synchronize their sets of communication? There obviously has to be lots of communication, even if you're a smaller sort of organization. But when I see this happen, it makes me feel good to be a part of that loyalty program. When you advise clients today about multi-channel communications, where do you sort of play into? Is it customer dependent? Is it brand dependent? Is it segment dependent? Tell me a little about channel-based communications.
Yeah, your timing is perfect. It's segment dependent.
Okay.
That's your best practice. It has to be informed by the observation of the customer or the member or the opt-in customer behavior. You're obviously going to go and observe when it's a welcome message. Welcome as in they're opening it at certain times of the day, days of the week. They may have a higher frequency in opening up an SMS because mobile is king, or fine, they're opening up from a PC, and that's okay too. And then that's a more leisure shopping experience as well. So understanding the data, understanding the tracking of the behavior, understanding customer preferences as to what they would like, what kind of frequency do they prefer. So having that ability to opt down if they choose to opt down, so that therefore, like DXL, I'm a big guy. So, that's closed for big guys. Yeah. I was getting way too many way too many communications from them in SMS as well as email. So I went to the preference center and I didn't unsubscribe. I said, you know what, just email me once a week and that's perfectly fine. As opposed to Pete's Coffee. I love Pete's Coffee. I order from the online. There isn't a physical store near me. Spend $150 buying a bunch of coffee at $19 a pound. And they're emailing me every day. It's like, how many times can I purchase coffee that I'm not giving it away? Yeah.
Right.
And so what's happening? I'm not opening up their email. I'm not opening up their SMS. They should be observing that, wait a minute, he made purchases and then he's not opening it. Does he not love us anymore? No, I had my utility taken care of. I made a purchase. Back off. Adjust the frequency accordingly. There's only so much coffee that one person can buy, unless you're going to go and consume it for free, and their offers are 50% off. So there's a lack of insight, there's a lack of coordination, there's a lack of planning. And the last thing that I'll say is brand, loyalty, they all need to sit together with the merchant team and coordinate. And sometimes you don't have that. At American Eagle, as an example, we always had that. FTD, the flour company, when I was client side as well. Every day we were talking about our inventory, what we need to push, what's seasonal, where are the trends by region, adjusting our communications and our creative based upon regionality, and we would segment out our communications accordingly. If they're all working together from a merchant planning and analysis standpoint, with the communications team and with the branding team and with the loyalty team, now you're achieving the kind of synergy that you require.
One final question before we give thoughts, because I read some statistic a long time ago, maybe you have an updated statistic, that the average consumer, the average person has 14 loyalty programs, whether they know it or not. Maybe there's more. I'm sure I'm a part of way more than 14 loyalty programs. But there's tiers, there's levels, there's gold versus tier 1, tier 2, and you got all these different sorts of things of how you can earn. If I give something, what do I get in return type of stuff. And so I've always advised clients, at least through the email communications, right? The mobile push is a whole separate thing, but or SMS. I've always advised things is there's a period of education, right? You can't just say 1 point's equal to 1,000 or 1 point's equal to 1, right? Or how do you achieve certain tier levels? So there has to be an education. We as marketers, you working on a loyalty program, me working on a loyalty program, me being in email, you being in digital, right? We all get it, right? We know how these different things work, but the average person may not. And we have to come over the hump and say, we have to use digital, however channel what we do, to really educate the customer or the loyalty customer about our program. And I'm very vigilant about that. I don't know why. It just seems like I don't want to intermingle. How do you advise somebody to say, especially if they've got a very awesome but somewhat complex program, right, around redemption or what they get out of it for them giving us something? So what are your thoughts on that?
I love you, Andrew. It's one of the things that I'm most passionate about. There's two things that I'm most passionate about. One,
Yeah,
the associate at the store level or the
yeah,
call center rep
yeah, yeah.
is your greatest asset as it relates to loyalty, because they're
Mm-hmm.
your advocate and they can explain to the customer how the program works. And many times companies will allow their associates to participate in the program. So it
Mm-hmm.
becomes part of their own persona and their own perception of things. And it's additive maybe to the
Yeah,
discount that they get. So they know how it works and how often rewards are issued and
yeah,
what different tier structures are and so on. That's one. So training, change management, and reinforcing the training is essential. The other
yeah.
thing that's absolutely essential is, I'm sorry, you sign up for the program, I send you a welcome message, and I assume that you studied it. No, you didn't study it. How many different communications can you get in one day? I mean, forget about 14 programs. How many
Yeah,
emails do you get in a day promo? Okay. And
yeah,
which ones do you pay attention to? Hey, I'm
right,
reading a book. I'm not interested in reading a
yeah,
message about how I should play in this loyalty program.
right,
Education is key, and it's
yeah.
not one and done. That series
Agree.
of communications to
Yeah.
communicate with the member.
Mm-hmm.
These are the benefits. These are the reasons why you should participate. Here's how the program works.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate when they earn a reward.
Mm-hmm.
Reinforce and thank them for redeeming their reward. Let them
Mm-hmm.
know that now they've earned more points or greater value, or reinforcing when you have new news that there's a new benefit, there's a new
Yep.
soft benefit. Hey, we're having a sale day. Pick your sale
Mm-hmm.
day, or we're
Mm-hmm.
removing a threshold for shipping. You get free shipping, for the next week, whatever it is
Yeah.
when business is soft. Take
Yeah.
the opportunity with any advantage that you can in terms of new news, and then
Yep.
reinforce the program works.
Totally.
And
Totally.
by the way, don't put it so far below the fold that nobody is going to pay attention to it either.
Right. Right.
It's so important. You
Yeah, it's
cannot
so important.
assume that people understand how it works. I'll add one more thing.
Yeah.
The design, color, and attitude by tier needs to be different. So if I'm in the
Great.
Neiman Marcus program, or I'm in the Nordstrom's program, and I am a platinum versus I am a silver, make
Mm-hmm.
that communication, that format feel special. So yes, it creates incremental development work for the
Yep.
creative team and the
Yep.
design team. But if you make that communication feel and look special in recognition for their higher level status, because they're spending
Absolutely.
incrementally more with you,
Yep.
they appreciate it. And so it's a more welcome communication as well. So
Absolutely.
versioning
Absolutely.
is so key as well.
And sometimes I've heard the feedback, and genuinely so. Sometimes I don't feel like they want to isolate somebody that's silver versus platinum. But guess what? That platinum person's really important to you, right? Has probably spent so much more. They deserve to feel more special. Just like when I travel, the executive platinum members board first, get priority into first class, and I'm relegated as a gold member or a platinum member to go after them at level 4.
There's something to be said for an egalitarian approach, right?
Right.
And treating
There
all
is.
customers equally. Because
Yeah.
someone is walking into the category for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
buying Johnston and Murphy shoes and paying $250 for a pair of wingtips. They just
Mm-hmm.
got their first job. They just graduated from college, but they're going to
Yeah.
be a high
Yeah.
value customer somewhere down the line. So you don't
Right.
want to disenfranchise them. You're going to nurture them. You're going to take care of them, but they
Yeah.
understand that their worth is
Yeah.
different than someone that's been buying
Yeah.
from that chain for 30 years. So
Totally.
you're not trying to disenfranchise customers, but they could be
Mm.
splitting their behavior amongst
Yeah.
5 different companies. And
Yeah. Yeah.
actually their total worth is a
Yeah.
platinum customer. They
Yeah.
just choose to shop around, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the reason why, as you know, in casino, that's the reason
Mm.
why they have status match.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. All right. So final thoughts, David. What are your final thoughts? Our audience probably wants to know from an expert and a co-founder of a loyalty agency such as yourself. What do you got? Like if somebody, were like, if they're just kind of coming into a new role or looking for some inspiration, what would you tell somebody?
In the loyalty space per se, and
Yeah,
just getting
loyalty space.
started.
So
Yeah.
loyalty space, and they've got this loyalty program that maybe is discombobulated or not really syncing very well with the overarching digital strategy. What would you tell them? Just curious as
Drive,
to your thoughts.
drive for innovation.
Hmm.
Consider ESG. It's more and more topical. Sustainability, showing love for the planet, showing love for the environment, showing love for the local community. Um,
Hmm.
Understand what the brand mission is and find ways to go and weave that brand mission into the program so that it's all synced up together and
Hmm.
complementary.
Yeah.
Um, Points still work, but
Hmm.
they have a tendency to feel like they're me too. So you have to understand the value and the worth of your different segments and build
Hmm.
your benefit structures according to that. But you
Yeah.
also want to keep pushing towards upward value migration. Take the
Hmm.
silvers and make them gold. Take the golds and make them platinum. How do
Right.
you go about doing that? What you're also seeing in the marketplace because of the pandemic is they're maintaining your status. So
Hmm.
maybe you've lost your job for a period of time, you're not spending as much, or maybe you're just tightening up your belt a little bit with your
Right.
savings, and that's what's causing a little bit of
Yeah.
softness in the economy, which we're seeing right now.
Hmm.
Understand that the customers are dealing with this inflation aspect, but they're still valuable to you, and you still need to nurture them and give them incremental benefit. And the last thing is what clients are asking us, and even new clients that are coming on board, is experiential rewards. So it's
Hmm.
not just the hard benefit, it's the soft things that you could do to give
Hmm.
them more, to make them feel more special, to really reach their heart.
Yeah. All excellent points. My final thought is this. My final
Please.
thought is that we as marketers know much more about our organization, our company, our vision, our brand mission, everything that we want to do. And there's this sort of clinical approach that some companies take. And sometimes clinical works with certain brands, but others is that you kind of need to make it more humanized, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the messaging inside everything that you just talked about is extremely important. From the beginning, when someone signs up for the first time, leading them through and educating them throughout, to somebody that has been a part of celebrating their 5-year, 2-month, 2-year, 20-year loyalty to the brand, that being humanized about it. People, and I think what we've learned coming out of the pandemic is that we appreciate people who are open, honest, and not creepy human, right? Not overly human, but somebody that can kind of bridge that gap. And there are lots of brands that do it. So whether you do it in email, whether you do it in SMS, mobile push, whatever the channel, social, whatever the channel, make sure that you guys work together. You're not separate departments. You are actually the same department working for your loyal customer or your soon to be loyal customer. And that really is a matter of, it's hard to go over that hump. We all want to be there. Some brands are just not, and they need help, or they at least need somebody advising them on how to map out a journey of what does it look like to join from the beginning, hopefully not till the end, but from beginning all the way to when they reach the upper
Lifetime
tier.
value. Mm-hmm.
Lifetime value. It's all about that. So,
Yeah.
David, man, I know we ran a little bit over, but man, this conversation was great. Thank you so much from me for taking part in this and using your expertise in that. You'll get all of David's places to contact him, his organization to contact him in this, and reach out if you're struggling or if you need some ideas. He's always willing to help. So David, thank you again for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Andrew. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next Email Never Sleeps.